Zara Chun had always been an average student back on Earth, struggling through her biochemistry degree with mediocre grades and a caffeine addiction that would make her professors weep. She never imagined that her unremarkable academic performance would become legendary across 17 star systems. The Galactic Education Exchange Program had been humanity's first major diplomatic victory since making contact with the Consortium of Civilized Worlds. When Earth applied to send students to the prestigious Andromedas University, the Alien Council had laughed, politely, of course, as befitted their advanced civilization. The humans, they declared, came from what the galaxy classified as a Class 7 Deathworld, where survival required such extreme adaptations that the inhabitants could hardly be considered suitable for academic pursuits. They breathe a corrosive gas mixture, Professor Kethvar had noted during the council meeting, his crystalline form shimmering with amusement. Their planet is 70% covered in a universal solvent. They consume organic matter that would be considered biological warfare agents on most civilized worlds. Despite the skepticism, the consortium had agreed to accept one human student as a cultural curiosity. Zara's application had been selected not for its academic merit, but because her essay about surviving organic chemistry lab accidents had been deemed entertainingly primitive by the admissions committee. Now, 3 months into her first semester at Andromedas University, Zara stood in Professor Veldhar's advanced xenobiology laboratory, surrounded by her gasping, terrified classmates. The assignment had seemed simple enough. Analyze a sample of Rigelian swamp moss, a benign organism used in basic biological studies across the galaxy. "How is she still conscious?" whispered Zethmi, a crystalline student from the Vega system, her translucent body flickering with distressed patterns. The spore concentration should have rendered any carbon-based life form catatonic within minutes. Zara looked up from her microscope, confused by the commotion. Her classmates, a diverse collection of gas-based entities, silicon matrix beings, and photosynthetic humanoids, were all backing away from their workstations, their various breathing apparatus clicking frantically. "Is something wrong?" Zara asked, pulling off her standard-issue safety goggles. She had long ago stopped wearing the environmental suit provided to her, finding it cumbersome and unnecessary. The air on Andromedas Prime was actually quite pleasant compared to Los Angeles smog. Professor Veldhar, a tentacled being from the Whirlpool Galaxy, approached cautiously. "Miss Chun, you appear to be unaffected by the moss spores. This is highly irregular. These organisms produce neurotoxins that can incapacitate most known life forms." Zara shrugged, the gesture causing several nearby students to flinch. "Yeah, it smells a bit like old gym socks, but I've smelled worse. My roommate freshman year never washed her dishes." The laboratory fell silent except for the gentle humming of air filtration systems working overtime. Professor Veldhar's optical organs dilated in what Zara had learned was the equivalent of shock. "You can smell the neurotoxins?" the professor inquired. "Sure," Zara replied, returning to her microscope. "Actually, this moss is pretty interesting. Look at these cellular structures. They're almost identical to some fungi we have on Earth. We call them death caps. Super toxic, but they make great research subjects." Word of the incident spread through the university's quantum communication network within hours. By the next day, xenobiologists from across the galaxy were requesting audiences with the impossible human. Zara found herself thrust into an unexpected spotlight, fielding questions about Earth's ecosystem with the casual expertise of someone who had simply grown up breathing poison and drinking acid rain. Dr. Zilera, the university's head of extreme environment studies, summoned Zara to her office within the week. The arthropod academic's compound eyes regarded the human student with what Zara hoped was fascination rather than hunger. "Miss Chen," Dr. Zilera began, her mandibles clicking thoughtfully, "your planet's classification may need revision. We've discovered that what we considered a death world may actually be the most sophisticated biological training ground in the known galaxy." Zara shifted uncomfortably in the specialized chair designed for her carbon-based physiology. "Look, Dr. Zilera, I'm really just here to study. Earth isn't that extreme. We've got theme parks more dangerous than most of our wilderness." The revelation that humans had voluntarily created recreational hazards for entertainment purposes caused a brief diplomatic incident that required intervention from the Galactic Peace Corps. As news of Earth's true nature spread throughout the consortium, applications from human students flooded every major university in the galaxy. What had begun as academic curiosity evolved into something approaching reverence. The Deathworlder, who casually breathed toxic fumes and shrugged off biochemical hazards, became the most sought-after research partner in xenobiological studies. Zara never did figure out why everyone made such a big deal about her perfectly normal Tuesday afternoon lab session. After all, she was still getting C's in quantum mechanics, and her thesis on comparative lethality of Earth beverages was 3 weeks overdue. But as she watched her classmates don full environmental suits just to observe her eating a peanut butter sandwich, she began to suspect that maybe, just maybe, Earth might be a little more interesting than she'd given it credit for.